Now, sometimes when you're inventing something, you got to start completely from scratch, right? Because nothing else that's come before is anything like what you're inventing. Other times, you can just modify something, although you got to modify it so much, you make it into something it was never designed to do. Well, that's what the person you're about to meet does, as long as it involves a turbo engine, that is.
This is the very first turbojet Mark Nye ever built. Constructed from a stock off-the-shelf automotive turbocharger, he claims it changed his life.
I got the idea of taking a turbocharger out of a car, an old junk turbocharger, and making a combustion chamber out of a couple of pieces of muffler pipe. There's an inner pipe and an outer pipe. I threw it together in the shop. I was in my late 20s. Put some acetylene to it, just kind of clamped the lines underneath the hose, and to my amazement and glee, it worked right away. I couldn't believe it. Just ran beautifully. So we turn the master switch on, fuel boost pump on, test the ignition. You can hear it sparking, so now it's armed. It all started back on the drag strip when I was a boy. The idea of flooring the accelerator, the carburetor is wide open. However much power that engine makes, that's it. You can't step any further than flat to the floor. Whereas a jet engine, it's kind of like a diesel engine now. A lot of guys are hot rodding diesel engines because the more fuel you put to it, the more power it makes. There is no wide open position. It's just more and more and more. There's no hard, that's it, boys, your foot's to the floor, it's not going to go any faster. You can always go more. So I always kind of thought of that as being kind of unlimited power.
Mark's family firm makes these, but if you look at his boat, you realize the turbo obsession has maybe gotten a bit out of hand.
So that gives us
the boat has a forward and reverse lever, like normal boats, but it also has an afterburner switch on the steering column.
Okay, so we're just going to fire up squirt. I'll get some hearing protection on. Master switch on. This is the engine that's found in the Sea King helicopter.
It takes close to a minute for the engine to fully warm up, but when it finally fires, well, if you look closely, you'll see when our cameraman jumped behind the lens. Right there.
This boat will run about 90 miles an hour, and it's reading 49% on the torque meter. So it's got tons and tons of power to go yet. But I have a family and kids and a wife, and I'm just not interested in killing myself, so we limit it to 90 miles an hour. This is a gas turbine engine that's very unique because it actually runs on wood.
Up to this point, Mark admits that he's been spending a lot of money to just simply make noise and flames. Now he wants to do something more practical. And while this looks like a pile of junk, it's actually a sophisticated power generator using old turbos to compress gases from burning wood.
We've proven that we're able to use the automotive turbochargers as they are off the shelf with some modifications to actually burn wood in the combustion chamber and generate electricity, which could be very valuable for somebody who's off-grid or in a location where they have no electricity, but they have an abundance of fuel.
The lid is screwed tightly into place. When it is operating at full speed, the unit will run at about 15 pounds per square inch, which may not sound like too much, but it will easily launch an unfastened lid into space. The generator needs a really hot fire to make enough combustion gases to work properly. This is a lot more serious than your neighborhood barbecue starter. Everything seems to be going pretty nice.
Whoa! What was that?
The generator is supposed to burn cleanly, yet there's smoke billowing from the stack, and the thing keeps burping and banging.
I think we spun a bearing. Not spun it, but I think...
No, I don't think so.
That's what it was touching the side when it stopped like that.
When?
Didn't you hear that noise?
The screaming? Oh, no, that's all right.
The problem is the combustion chamber. They've used lava rocks to lift the wood up and away from the grate.
This is mild steel perforated plate, and you can see that the steel is actually melted and dripping off. This is part of the char and the ash, melted char, and also melted steel. So we tried the lava rock. Here we go. We're getting a bit more action now. Pressure's starting to come up. It looks like the wood is settling in the combustor and coming in closer, getting more air on it. You'll know it's really booking looking good when you see me start backing off a little bit. Until that time, it's not doing anything.
Which doesn't take much time to happen.
That was a compressor stall. You get flame that comes back to the compressor.
Eventually, the flywheel attached to the alternator begins to turn. On this day, there just isn't enough gas coming from the burning wood to drive the belt and flywheel. Previously, he's blown belts and bearings to spectacular effect. Eventually, Mark has plans to put the whole kit and caboodle into a container and sell it as a generator in a box. But before he does that, he needs to figure out how to match up his car's turbos for maximum efficiency.
We need to go back to basics now. We need to build an apparatus that we can use for matching the turbo machinery and make sure that we get it running at the proper pressure ratio, the proper temperatures, and the mass flow that we need, and then we can match an appropriately sized power turbine.
To that end, Mark has devised yet another machine that will not only help match turbines, but will make a hell of a flame in the process.
The point of this is matching the turbo machinery. We're not making our own turbo machinery. We're using off-the-shelf turbochargers, which is the whole trick to what we're doing, by saving money, by not having to have expensive stuff.
And having a lot of fun along the way.